What is the space between? The space between was born out of a lot of shit, quite frankly, that I've gone through over the last couple years. And ultimately, what we've gone through individually and as a collective. The space between is this weird time that we find ourselves in. It's this time of great change and upheaval and transition. It is a time where the foundation feels rocky. Things are certainly not smooth. Many things are crumbling. You can look at it in the macro with our big systems like money and government and healthcare. And then you can look at it in the micro of the crumbling of the people we once were and what we believe to be true. And that is what I coined the space between. So when I started thinking about this idea, I started thinking about how we are so incredibly disconnected. How could we not be, right? Things are crumbling, things are changing. It's really not a time that people feel like getting together and being like, oh, let's go have fun, although we should do that. It is a time of a lot of introspection and, quite honestly, unfortunately, a lot of fear that's in the collective and individuals as well. So when I started to think about how can we heal moving into the new future of ourselves, of our institutions, of our world, we have to figure out how to connect back to ourselves and how to connect back to each other as we are today. We look back, things look very different in the rearview mirror. And we have been through a lot. We continue to go through a lot. And one of the ways I believe that we can heal is through conversation, right? So we know we need to be less disconnected. We know that connection is needed. And a lot of times it's just through a conversation. And I think we'll find out when we converse with each other, we have so much more in common than we have different. It's that simple. And this message has rung true for decades, I'm sure probably centuries. There's this division and polarity that has existed, and it's not your fault. It's not our fault. There are a lot of things, power structures, if you will, that are causing this division. So let's start talking to each other. It's that simple. Communication, connection, conversation. We will find more common ground. We are going to need to come together in order to solve all of the problems that we have. And we have a lot of problems that we need to solve. So join me in the space between, where we look at the themes in our lives and we have a conversation about it. How do we feel about it? What do we hope for the future? What are the narratives that exist in the collective that may or may not be true for each of us? That is what the space between is. Join me.